Hi there, I'm Willy Wormhead and welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be sharing with you a really useful technique for increasing stitches as you join two sets of live stitches together. So let me just show you what I mean by that. This is a beret pattern from my Introspection collection. Introspection is a collection of 6 hat styles with a multitude of brim options and crown shapings for any yarn, any weight, any head size. Fantastic collection for, loads of different hat knitting. And one of the options in all of the hats is a folded brim. This is the bonnet version. Sorry, I said the slouch version. It's slightly darker here, but you can see that it's got a folded brim. Now, when you work a folded brim and you bring together two sets of live stitches, you knit the front stitch together with its adjacent back stitch to close the folded brim and to create a seam and close it off. When you need to increase into the body for something like a beret or a slouch hat or whatever else it is, you might be doing it on a cuff or something, or a collar and you need to expand it. I don't know, it could be any situation that you do this. There is a way to incorporate the shaping into the actual joins that you don't need to work an extra row or round afterwards to do it. And it's really nifty and it's a really clever way of avoiding working that extra round and just doing the whole thing in one go, because this has this technique here. All right, I've not worked an extra increased round for the body. The joining actually happened in that pearl ridge there that you see all the way through. All right, now the video that I'm going to switch over to was originally shared with my Patreons. They get early access to all of my tutorials and experimental stuff that I do, as well as lots of other benefits like a regular knit me and coupon codes and discounts and all sorts of stuff. And they get loads of benefits. So because it was recorded for my patrons, it doesn't have a little fancy window of me sitting at the top talking. But I hope it gives you some helpful tips for how you can actually do your increasing at the same time while you are joining, because really it is one of those fantastic little clever things. So we'll switch over to that now, and I hope it's helpful. In this sample that I've got here, this is going to be like a slouch hat in this new collection. So it needs an increase of what would normally be, say, K4 make one. So I'm increasing 1 stitch for every 4 stitches in the cast on. So the cast on stitches that I released from the original cast on are in the back needle. I've got a smaller needle on the back because they're often a little bit tight when they're released from the cast on. And these were the stitches that I'd work. So I made sure it's a plain stocking stitch folded brim with a ridge edge. Excuse me, I've got my cup of tea here. Oh. Apologies if you heard that slurping, but that's where my hand disappeared. So these are the same depth, same number of rounds have been worked. There's a pearl ridge at the bottom here, so that's going to be the brim edge. And because of the type of pattern it is, I am having a pearl ridge join round because that's going to look rather nice with all the stocking stitches going on. So when we want to increase stitches when we're joining them, we don't follow quite the same formula. So I want to increase 1 stitch for every 4. But that doesn't mean we do a join 4, then do the increase. We actually, because we're joining 2 stitches together in our regular kind of motion, we actually only want to work 3 in a regular motion. So let me just show you what I'm doing here. This is a bit awkward, so I apologise because I've got the tripod set up. So hopefully this will be nice and clear. But what I've done is I've just taken 1 stitch from the back needle, popped it onto the front, and I'm going to purl those together. Then I'm going to do that again. And then I'm going to do it one more time. So I am joining 3 as per the regular join instructions. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to purl 1 on the back needle on its own, and then purl 1 on the front needle on its own. And they're going to be popped off. So what that's done is it's used 4 stitches from both the front set and the release stitches. So it's used 4 stitches, but it's created 5. Because we're joining 2 at a time when we go all the way through, we only want to join 1 less than we would normally knit in an increase repeat. So an increase repeat might be K4 make 1. Here you join 3, then work 1 regular on the back needle and work 1 regular on the front needle. So your 4 is still being worked, but that's how you're increasing your extra stitch. Now, because I've got it set up under the tripod here and I've got a little bit awkward because it's, as I say, I needed to get really clear photographs. What I'm not showing you is how, because these are, the only needles I had that were the right size, which means they're my really, really long fixed circs, and I don't like them, and also not very malleable under this setup. What you might do, it's easier if you're knitting. Well, let's see if I can do it this way. What you could also do, instead of moving that stitch off that needle onto that one, you could purl them together. Let's see how that works that way. It's kind of doable. I hope you can see that. So I've gone into the front, back first and then the front, because we're purling, so you've got to do the back one first, and you've got to pop them both off. Problem is that, as I say, you can't really see if you're dropping or picking up any extra stitches this way other than from the back. So you could do it that way. And then you just purl one from the back and then purl one from the front. Now, if you're knitting them together and you're doing an increase round, it's easier because you can just insert your needle, right, take that around, insert from the front and then into the back, and it's much easier to see. But it's awkward because the example I'm showing you is purling. Another thing you can do is you can actually take the back stitches directly from the provisional cast on and release them as you go, which is what I actually normally do, but that doesn't work very well for tutorials. It's quicker. It saves you having to try and put them all onto a needle that is inflexible, or it saves you having to find another spare needle. But that's it, really. This is just how you do it, and it's more the principle and the numbers behind it. So let's say this is my stitches are all stuck on the back of that needle there. You join 3 and then knit 2 regular, one from the back and one from the front, and that gives you 5 stitches from a total of 4 across. So if it's a beret, instead of being K2 make one, you would join one, then work one separately and work on the back needle and work one separately on the front needle. So you're only joining one for every repeat of the increase. So as I say, it's 1 stitch less than wouldn't be normally in the repeat is how many you join. I hope that I've said that the right way around and I'm not confused anymore. So K4 make one is join 3, work one on the back needle, work one on the front needle. K2 make one would be join 1, join, and then knit 1 from the back needle or 1 from the front needle. Yeah, it's a nifty little technique, and what it does is it just means that you can go straight into the body pattern. And it's one of those things that kind of makes you feel quite clever, really, because you're doing 2 things in one go, and it gives a really, really neat edge. So if you're going straight into a stitch pattern, then you don't have to worry about adding in an extra plain round of stocking stitch and thinking about how you're going to incorporate that in a repeat to make it invisible, etc. It's a way of basically incorporating the shaping into the rest of your knitting. So there's that, and I'm now going to take a couple more photographs for this tutorial and get it written, and then try and get this video uploaded for you. Okay, so one more time. Want it one more time? All right then. I'm just going to do it the longhand way. Take 1 stitch from the back needle, put it on the front, and I'm purling them together because this is a purl join round. They could just as easily be knit. It's the same principle. That's 2 joined. Yeah. 3 joined. And then 1 from the back. And then 1 from the front. Oop. Okie dokie. Bye. There you go. Pretty cool, huh? The example that I actually used in the video is the slouch version that is here from the Introspection collection. This was the actual hat that I was working on while I was doing it. So yeah, give it a try. It makes a difference. It makes things more refined. It saves you have to do that extra roll around. It's kind of like something that makes you and your knitters feel pretty clever for doing it. So if you could do the like, share, whatever thing, I'd much appreciate while I'm growing my channel. And if you would be interested in more of the behind the scenes perks and getting early access to tutorials, or even just watching my YouTube tutorials without adverts, if you'd like discount codes, regular knit meets, go and check out my Patreon, because that's one of my favorite places to be on the internet. I love it, Patreons. They're fantastic for supporting me. All right, take care. Happy hatting.